Welcome to Goddess on the Rise. I'm your host, Sarah Brookberg, Ayurveda practitioner and coach of literally all the things, helping women connect to their mind and body. This is your space for real, raw, and authentic as fuck conversations on healing, embodiment, and rising into your power. So get cozy, grab your mineral mocktails, take a deep breath, and let's dive in. All right, welcome back to another episode of Goddess on the Rise. Today we have my good friend here, Roy. Me and Roy have been following each other for a hot minute we started on TikTok and then we followed
Yeah.
each other over to Instagram. I don't even know when it started, but I've just been like so inspired by like what you post and like just seeing you exist in your body online and I love it. So I'm gonna hand it over to
Aw.
you. Introduce
That
yourself a little
is
bit.
so incredibly sweet of you. Yeah, we've been following each other for the better part of a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time that we actually had a moment to connect and talk
Yeah.
was last July. And yeah, so it's been a minute.
It
Like I
has.
remember I was out for a walk and
You
we
were. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, I was out for a walk along the river walk in Chicago and found a cute little planter box to be able to sit down and like actually chat with you for a minute. So um I adore that we have been able to maintain a friendship since then and we're finally getting to like connect on your podcast.
Yeah.
Oh,
And meeting in person here soon. So excited.
yes.
Portland.
I'm very excited for you to be able to come on one of my retreats.
Yeah.
And Portland is such a like perfect little space for a restoration and recovery retreat. And I'm really excited that that's the one that you leaned into and
It's
are
so
coming to.
needed. So
Yeah,
needed.
and well, especially because you're based in the Pacific Northwest right now.
Yeah.
So having you join for that, like the rest of us who are not locals to the Pacific Northwest will be able to experience a little bit of the local flair and I'm very excited to have someone who's a little bit closer to the area along for the ride. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be so
Oh.
fun. I cannot wait. We'll definitely get into that. But why don't you tell everybody what it is that you do and all the good stuff about you? I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so hi everyone. I am Roy Belzer. I am a certified personal trainer, and I am an influencer. I do public speaking work, primarily public speaking on body inclusivity within the fitness space. And I do a lot of advocacy work, fighting for health at every size and having conversations around um, living pain-free in your body and being able to be as mobile as possible without a focus on fat loss. So I do a lot of advocacy work kind of in that space.
Mhm.
So having opportunities to come on podcasts like this where we celebrate bodies and I get to celebrate being a fit goddess is always just very exciting.
I love the term thick goddess. I've been seeing you. Honestly, like I just love the fact that you show up in your body online without a shirt on, like in very like bare minimal clothing, and just you exist and you doesn't matter what anybody says to you, you're just like, yeah, this is it. This is a body that deserves movement. This is how I'm going to show up and this is how I'm going to exist. And we talked a little bit beforehand about how like sometimes our bodies can change, but your message never does. It's still the same. And I appreciate seeing it. It makes me feel like I can exist in that space very safely. Whereas like we kind of see things like ebb and flow in other spaces, and you've just been very, very consistent with that message, and I just love it.
I love so much that that is how it's perceived on the outside
Yeah.
because I am currently in a larger body, but as someone who works in the fitness space, my body is continuously changing.
Hmm.
I go up in weight, I go down in weight, I gain different visible muscles at different points in my life, depending on what I'm training for at the time. I have a long history with being a distance runner, so there are definitely times in my life where I am in a smaller body. And I was just seeing the other day in one of my memories, specifically on Facebook, of when I first got into fitness and working kind of in that space. It was a time when I had like a visible six pack, and I was a lot more what the kids call cut. And I had posted about a class that I was teaching, and the class was called a Love Your Body class.
Hmm.
And it was all about moving your body regardless of size and being able to show love for your body and learning how to move pain free. So I love that I have had opportunities in all sizes across the board to maintain the message of body inclusivity.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy that that's how it's perceived.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. That's definitely how I see it. And I love that you don't make the changes in your body mean anything about who you are or like what you deserve or anything about your like self-love too, right? Like again, with that very consistent messaging, like I'm gonna love myself regardless of the change or regardless of where I'm at in that. And I still deserve movement through all of it. And I still deserve that connection through all of it. So it's consistent. It's beautiful to see you like consistently showing up. And I have been following you on Instagram for a hot minute, and you, no matter what, you're always showing up the same, even with like all the troll comments. And I want to get into that for a minute because I
yeah.
think you do such a good job at n like not wavering in your message and then also not wavering in like almost like taking breaks or anything like that. You just like you're like whatever, I'm still gonna post, like I'm still gonna show up. And I think that is freaking incredible. And so I would love to talk about how like you clap back, how you manage that, how you maintain still like existing in your body and not like, changing anything because of the comments you get.
Yeah, so I feel like it's really important to make note for all of your listeners who might not know who I
Mhm.
am that
Yeah, please.
I have a heavy history with eating disorders,
Hmm.
anorexia, bulimia, orthorexia, and that is kind of what initially spurred me into working in the fitness space
Hmm.
and moving into my own eating disorder recovery is what prompted me to practice more body positivity rather than like body neutrality.
Hmm.
So, for me, seeing the trolls online who are consistently commenting on my body and the size that I am and saying that I don't deserve to work in the fitness space it definitely at different points in my posting has been difficult to see, especially
Hmm.
with my history with my eating disorders, having
Hmm.
people consistently comment on my body, my size, and the way that I look, and
Hmm.
never
Yeah.
making comments on the way that I move and the way that I function,
Hmm. Hmm.
because I may be in a bigger body right now, but I'm still squatting 400 pounds.
Right.
I may be in a bigger body right now, but I'm still like training for a marathon. So
Yeah.
I feel like the work that I'm doing in posting about the way that my body moves is really important to having those conversations around like you can be in any size and still show health. You can be
Hmm.
in any size and still do these incredible things with your body. But for me, seeing those comments now, I I remind myself that anything that they say to me or about my body is nothing compared to the thoughts I've had about my own body with my eating disorder.
Literally.
So I was like, they can come at me with anything they've got. I will forever be the harshest critic of my own body
Sure.
to the point that like I've been hospitalized for depriving myself of different things.
Yeah.
So their words are just words. They're strangers on the internet.
Yeah.
And honestly, them consistently commenting on my body in whatever way that they do pushes the algorithms to get me in front of the people that need to see the message that I am perpetrating.
Hmm.
You know, like I just 2 days ago on Instagram had a video hit like 250,000 views with, like 1,500 comments of people telling me like the that I don't deserve to work in fitness or as bad as like you need to kill yourself because this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
And for me, it um it got me in front of the people who are looking for representation in this space.
Right.
I gained hundreds of followers from their just awful comments. And that's why I keep showing up. That's
Yeah.
why I'm staying consistent. That's why I do the work that I do and will continue to advocate for body inclusivity.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's such a beautiful way to put it. I always say like all publicity is good publicity. Like
Yeah.
they're literally commenting the stupidest things. And honestly, what it truly is like a direct reflection of what they believe about themselves, right? Like their judgments are judgments that they've also believed about themselves. So it's like when I get hate comments like that, I always remind myself two things. One is that, well, three things. One is that they really, to show them some empathy within reason. I'll get to that in a minute, but because what their worldview is so warped, and that they've probably had someone in their life say these things to them about themselves, or they've heard it about like their mom saying it about themselves or something like that, you know? So it definitely stems from something somewhere. And that brings me to my next point where I will usually like comment back within reason unless it's like pure abuse and hatred, and then that's where I have to like draw that line, right? Like it doesn't make sense to engage with that. And then number three, it's always like this reminder, like nothing that they say about me is anything near what I've said about myself. Like they can't
Absolutely.
bring me down to anywhere that I haven't already been, really. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And then, yeah, definitely. Like the more comments, the more views you're going to get. It's going to keep on pushing your video out, and it will always bring you back to someone who really needs to see that message. And that is who you're there for, right? Like, what is your purpose of putting this content out, right? Like,
Hmm.
it's so easy to say like F the haters, but sometimes that does weigh on you. So, how do you
Yeah.
manage that when you feel like it's like you kind of get like in it or you're seeing those comments like come through? What is it that you do for you that helps you feel better about that? Like, what does that look like for you managing that?
I have, I have such a wonderful group of humans who I can lean into and
Yeah,
have conversations with openly about
good.
what I'm going through in those moments of like bombardment of hateful comments. Like
Uh-huh.
this week when I had that video blow up, I
Yeah.
leaned into a couple of my best friends and I was just like, so this is what I'm experiencing.
Mhm.
Just a heads up. So if you hear me go dark for a minute, don't let me like fall down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But then I am so fortunate to have um people reach out when my like diehard followers or friends online see that I'm getting these comments coming through, reach out to me. Like you actually reach out to
Yeah.
me this week to make sure that I was doing okay. And it's people like you who are in my corner
Mhm.
that reassure me that what I'm doing is genuinely making a difference in the world to the lives of those who are looking for representation in this space. it truly makes it all worth it to
Yeah.
kind of be that bit of a punching bag for a second, for that momentary blip in time, because that's what it is. Like if I have
Mhm.
a video go off and I just get, thousands of hateful comments, it's a moment in time and it's gonna pass.
Yeah.
Like the 15 minutes of fame, albeit like hateful fame, those 15 minutes, that's all it is. It's 15 minutes. And then we
Yep.
move on and we continue to work with the people that need us.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful reminders. I love that. And yeah, thanks for taking time to even like kind of touch on that because I know it can be when you're in it sometimes it can feel like, well, it is. It's absolutely an attack on your nervous system. And I had a post actually in my community page go like in my local community page go like community viral, like just hundreds of comments after I talked about what it is I do and just tons of things of like this isn't a thing. You're not like board certified, like all this craziness. And then I would get messages coming in from like local people. And it's like, these are people that like I see on my streets, like, and
Mhm.
so it can feel like that attack on your nervous system. And it's like, okay, what are you going to do in this moment, right? Like, what are you going to learn from this? Like, what are you going to receive from this? And how can I move on, right? And it's always that like sitting with yourself, leaning on your support system, and just recognizing like everything that they say about you truly is just a reflection of themselves for sure. And is that who you're calling in, right?
Yeah, honestly, that's something that I always keep in mind when I see these comments come in as well, is I see what they're saying to me and I see what their responses are and reminding myself that they are hurt people
Hmm.
because hurt people hurt people.
Amen. Yeah.
And that's why whenever I do make direct responses to comments, I have a couple of videos planned this afternoon
Yeah.
out of the comments. I genuinely make sure that anything that I respond is not a direct attack on those people because they're never going
Always.
to go through any kind of moment of healing
Hmm.
if they are continued to be attacked themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you'll never see me comment on the way that someone looks.
Right.
You'll never see me comment on the way that someone moves.
Hmm.
You will only see me like typically I'll put their comments up in the corner of
Yeah.
a video
I love it.
and I'll do something absolutely outrageous in fitness. My go-to is doing an arabesque on a Bosu ball
Yes.
because for me, I utilize that Bosu ball as like a recovery tool because I broke my ankle last year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, if I'm on here anyway, I might as well do something outrageous on it and use it for a piece of content. So why not? This is not something that I would have clients do by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm also like a ballet dancer. So
Yeah.
I can do an arabesque on a Bosu ball and like be fine and safe with it.
You're so
But
cool. You're so cool. I love it. It's so badass. I love it.
but that's the thing is like I don't want them to continue to go through whatever pain that they're trying to inflict on others
Sure.
because yeah, they're obviously in some kind of hurt space themselves.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's such a beautiful reminder, and you do such a good job of that. When I comment back to like hateful comments, I always try to remind myself like, what would like my ideal comment or my ideal person that I want to work with, how would she like me to respond? Like, how would she feel seeing my comments back? And it just reminds me to like step into like that highest version of myself when I respond and and have like the dialect that way, and it just makes me feel so much better too, like on the inside, and then also knowing that like this is how I'm going to make sure that I'm portrayed. I will say there are moments where I'm weak in that because sometimes you just got to get a little clap back in. Of course, I'm the same with you. Like I'm never like actually commenting on anyone's body or anything like that because it just feels like gross behavior. Like why would you do that?
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. So I want to move into a little bit about your retreats and also like some of your offerings because they are so amazing. Like I was checking it out the other night because I'm like, oh, I definitely want to get signed up for this. I'm finding my way
Yeah.
back into some gentle movement, so I'm so excited to have like representation online of like a safe space to learn how to move my body again and connect with my body in that way. So I want to talk a little bit about retreats and talk about that if that feels good with you.
Yeah, that feels great. I'm here for moving into some like good vibe stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So specifically, you have retreats that you have started, and I would love to know, like, how did you get started on this, and like, what is your mission with these retreats? What are your goals?
Yeah. So I host body empowerment retreats specifically. So all of my retreats are accessible spaces to people in we'll say most bodies. We
Hmm.
are working towards creating retreats that are accessible to all bodies because I
Hmm.
do have a lot of people who are more wheelchair bound reaching out to me, and my
Okay.
retreats aren't quite grown to the point where that's a thing yet, but we're getting there, and I'm very excited for that.
Yeah.
But all of my retreats are 5 days and 4 nights, focused on having conversations around our bodies, the way they move, our pain points, having conversations around our history with food and nutrition, having conversation around our relationship with our bodies, and then all of our my retreats include daily movement practices, whether that is a long walking tour through a city or a morning yoga practice or an evening mindful meditation and movement practice. And that's all kind of dependent on who shows up to the retreats and what movement practices everyone is looking for.
Hmm.
So that's kind of the like base of it. But each
Um,
retreat has its own special little thing too. So, like we were talking about with the Portland retreat that you're coming on, that one's focused
yeah.
on recovery and restoration. So we are going to do like a cute little trip to the largest used bookstore in the country, Powell's. We're
So
doing
exciting.
a little coffee shop tour. We're doing an afternoon of shopping at local businesses. We're doing an evening at a roller skating rink, reconnecting with that kind of inner childhood. We're
Yeah.
doing a body empowerment photo shoot where everyone has an opportunity to wear um, something that they might not typically wear or wear their favorite pieces of clothing, bring their favorite book along, have something that they want represented as a way to see themselves in a light that they don't typically see themselves. And then all of my retreats have that opportunity. I always bring along a professional photographer, and she takes photos throughout the entire retreat. So you get to leave the
Oh,
retreats with a package of professional photos,
oh,
including
that's
like
so
a solo
sweet.
photo shoot. Yeah, so I
Oh,
love that. And then the Portland one, we are also doing a body empowerment tattoo as well. So everyone that comes along has an opportunity, if they want, to have a tattoo included in the package.
that's
So if
incredible.
yeah, depending on how that goes, I might continue to fly my tattoo artist out to other retreats. This is our first
Uh,
time doing it, and I'm super excited. I've worked with her in the past. She's done about 10 of my tattoos,
wow.
and I love her work. I love, love, love her work. So that's a lot of like the Portland specific one, but I'm hosting 7 retreats this year, and every
That's
city that
so
we're going
many.
to. It's so many. I
I'm
know.
so excited for you. That's incredible.
I love every bit of it, and I'm so excited at the opportunity to work with so many people in so many different spaces too,
Truly.
and creating an accessible way to travel for so many people is just it's so cool to be able to like combine my love for travel and
Yeah.
accessible fitness.
Yeah.
So, but every city that we're going to has like a different little thing that we're focused on, and I adore it. And I love that I get to do that.
Yeah, no, I love that so much. And I think what made me like so excited to even consider a retreat with you is the fact of like how you present yourself and how you presented the retreats. Like it just me being like in a chronic illness body, like and I having like my service dog with me and stuff like that, it's made it to where like I feel I get nervous about retreats, right? Because I think like I don't know in your space, but like in my space, what I see in terms of like retreat wise is a lot of like thinness and like you'll see a lot of like the holistic side of things and it truly doesn't feel accessible. When I know that like I'm gonna be the largest body in the room and that I'm gonna have to make accommodations for myself, it doesn't make me feel included. It doesn't make me feel seen, right? And I'm like, is that
Yeah.
gonna be a safe space for me? Whereas with you is just like a sense and knowing that like actually I don't think I have to worry about that. Like I actually feel really good here. I feel seen, I feel represented, and I feel like this is gonna be a safe space for me to truly rest and have restoration and very like restorative time. And I have never felt so like quick to say yes to something. I was like looking at the dates and I was like, oh, this is actually so perfect in alignment with like what it is that like I need and I it was just like a full body yes. And for me, I'm someone who's like, okay, I need to like sit with this, be with my intuition and be like, okay, is this are we good? What's the gut feeling here? And it was just like a full body send. And I think that that is what is missing in the retreat space is like a place for all bodies to feel represented and seen and safe and just knowing that like you're creating this space is it's so needed and I freaking love to see it.
That brings me so much joy. I honestly, because I work in this space, I
Yeah.
am constantly looking for like other creators, other people who are hosting retreats, and I honestly only can think of one to two other people who are kind of doing the like size inclusive specific
Yeah.
retreat setting and still kind of in the holistic wellness space.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a space that needs to exist,
Yeah.
and I love that I get to be a part of it and facilitate it and work with so many incredible people.
Yeah.
It's just one of the absolute best things about like hosting these retreats is seeing the progression that people go throughout the week
Yeah.
because I definitely host people who are in all different spaces when they show up and watching someone go from a little bit apprehensive at the beginning of the week when we're sitting down and having our intention setting for the week and introducing each other to one another to the end of the week people crying because they're going to miss the people that they
Oh,
are there and built relationships with. It's just such a wonderful feeling knowing that I assisted in facilitating that and that I am making a genuine difference in the lives of the people that are showing up.
yeah.
And one of the biggest tells in knowing that I'm making that genuine difference is every single person who's been on a retreat so far has signed up for another one, which is
Wow.
wild. Every single person.
Holy
So I've
moly.
had
That's
one
incredible.
person who couldn't make it to another one because of grad school. I
Yeah.
was like, babes, I get it. So yeah, knowing that like what I'm doing, people want to come back again
Yeah.
it lets me know what I'm doing is actually worth doing.
Yeah. No, I feel
So
like that's really
I love
life
it.
changing for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Because even on this Portland one, you're going to have two people who have been on previous retreats before
that's so
who are coming.
cool. I love that for you.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. I feel like that's such a big deal and really, it's not talked about enough. Like I don't see a lot of people out here in these spaces doing the work that you do truly. And so it's really incredible to witness and I'm so excited to be a part of it. I literally cannot wait. So I'm Portland is in April and then after that, when is your next one?
My next one after that is going to be in June in Chicago. So
Chicago.
that one I am co-hosting with another body positive influencer,
How fun.
Caroline Walker.
Oh,
So
Caroline. Yes.
yeah, you
I
know
love
Caroline. Okay.
her. Yes.
Yes, I adore Caroline, and I'm so excited to be co-hosting that one with her.
How fun.
Um, yeah, so I'm gonna be doing a lot of the setup and stuff, and it's going to be very similar to my regular retreats.
Yeah.
But she's going to be doing some very specific things to like her brand of body positive like mindfulness work, and
Yeah.
I'm very excited to be like co-hosting in that space. But
Yeah.
that one's going to be in June, June 16th through the 21st, I think.
Cool.
Whatever that 5 day, 4 night span is, starting
Yeah.
on June 16th.
Yeah.
And that one is going to be like a big celebration one because it is the day after my birthday.
Oh,
So
fun.
my little birthday retreat.
I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, we're doing that one. We're doing Rehoboth Beach in Delaware in July. August, we are going to San Francisco and we are doing a Dungeons and Dragons retreat.
Oh my,
Um, I
I love
have
that.
I am so excited. I am co-hosting that one with an award-winning Dungeons and Dragons podcast like host.
That is
So he's going
so
to be the dungeon
cool.
master. Yeah, I'm so freaking excited for that one. Where else are we going? We're doing San Diego this year, New
Yes.
Orleans, Denver. I think that's seven, maybe. Yes, I think so. So,
Amazing. I love that.
yeah.
Well, I definitely vote that sometime you'll have to do a Seattle one with me in the future. Just shooting my shot there, but I'm telling you, it's beautiful.
That is actually in the works already.
You're
So,
kidding. I love that. That'll be so exciting. Yes,
yes.
definitely count me in. So, um, yeah, that's amazing. And so I just want to take a few, I don't want to honor your time here, but want to take a few more minutes and talk about some of the offers that you have going on right now in terms of like your fitness programs and anything else that's like kind of coming up and that you want to share about.
Yeah. So I am starting to teach a couple of in-person classes, which I'm very excited about moving into that. I'm teaching
So cool.
a class for larger bodied individuals in Manhattan on Saturday. And that's going to be something that's consistent, ongoing. So very excited for that.
So cool.
I have a body weight fitness membership that I created specifically during the pandemic. I recorded 300 workouts during the pandemic and took them and created
300.
300. Yeah.
Wow.
I was running it as a I do the workout and then send it out to the people who are registered for it the next day before I knew how anything on the internet worked.
Right.
So I took those videos and I created an on-demand program where you can go in, click on the videos, and do them at home. So it's all body weight workouts, and it's $15 a month for access to that.
Wow.
And then I do take on a couple of one-on-one clients, and my specialty for working in fitness is pre and post physical therapy rehab. So I work with a lot of people who have gone through significant injuries, and I work with people on regaining mobility, lowering their pain points, and just living a more fulfilling life in their overall mobility. Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
That is amazing. I feel like that is so needed too. I'm like, sign me up. But that is
Yeah.
incredible. So where can everyone find you, if they're interested in anything like that?
Yeah, so I on social medias I'm at Roy Belzer Fitness on TikTok, and then on Instagram it's at Roy Belzer Fitness with an underscore at the end.
Cool.
Um, And then if you are looking to sign up for any of the things, retreats, membership, etc., you can find it all at roybelzerfitness.com. So
Perfect.
pretty consistent across the board.
Love that.
And yeah, you can find that all there. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much for taking time and to come on here. And yeah, I absolutely love what you do and what you stand for. It's so beautiful to witness and to see you do all the things and to join you on your retreats too. I'm so excited. And in the show notes, I'll have all your links so anyone can find you on there. And yeah, just appreciate you taking time.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This has
Yeah,
been a blast to have an opportunity to talk through all this and to be able to chat before I get to meet you in person
I
in
know. So excited.
like at the end of April.
Yeah, yeah, it's coming quick too, and so I cannot wait.
Yeah, yeah,
Be
I'm
fun.
very excited.
Yeah,
So
and you still have a few spaces left. Do you still have few spaces on that
I
one?
do. I do still
Awesome.
have a few spaces left for that one. And it's open to people traveling in or for people who are local to the Portland area as well.
Amazing.
So yeah, anyone can join. Yeah, I still have a couple of spaces left. So
Awesome. So if you want to join us, make sure you check out the links in the show notes. I'd love to see everyone in Portland. That would be so cool to have some listeners join as well. And then yeah, make sure you check out Roy and thanks so much for being here. You're incredible.
thank you. You too.